Hey everyone, I'm Billy. This time we'll continue to look at some model shops. However, this model shop is quite special because the owner has a lot of rare and unique items. I also really like some of the antique remote control models. So let's go check it out. Previously, there was a video where I mentioned that I would go to Kwonghwa Street. This model shop is located there, and I'm going to press the button for the 13th floor to find the owner, who is called AYK. This owner has many friends who restore old cars, For example, this one is modeled after a.
Hirosaka's.
In addition to making the exterior look similar, the inside is also exactly the same, using the electronics, transmission, and receiver from that time. RY is quite experienced in this area, and I've learned a lot from him as shown in this video. Some of the older generation seniors would know what these things are. I once attended a session because the younger generation nowadays doesn't understand. It's called DA Qualif, but to the younger ones it seems like it's called Do Bochian. But actually it's all carbon. I mean, you can tell just by looking at it horizontally, it's pitch black. The business is like the Blackfield Horse 60 Thief, which also uses DA graph. Back in the day, Joe Johnson drove this car, which was also Dowcock. So, some of the older generation refer to it as DA Graph brand, but the younger ones don't recognize DA Graph brand. They only know it as carbon fiber. Yeah. These are now available from Suzuki, meaning you can directly buy and assemble them yourself, like this type. It's quite nice, this one. Now, Suzuki's four-wheel drive, it's quite nice, and these use this kind of color for their four-wheel drive cars. He should be quite familiar with those cars from back then. Yes, it's a gold-plated one, but does this one have a serial number? Actually, these don't have a serial number. Okay, this is of course the latest model of the Four-Wheel Drive Association's composite version, but it looks like the earliest RC10 shell, right? I mean, the shell is just like that, very nice. It's from the factory, and for fans of RC. It's called Fan RC. Okay, it's an alternative limited edition release. Isn't it that square pattern? This one is? Yes, this one is the square pattern. Yes, wow, it's really nice. It's Fan RC. Even the curved versions are already hard to teach. Yes. Besides seeing a lot of imitation remote control cars, you'll also see many genuine antiques. For example, this Corrali SP12G originates from the SP12 of 89, and it was manufactured in 91. It's quite exquisite, and has a design that reflects the style of that era. When I searched on eBay, I couldn't find a complete NIB set. There are many parts, so you can imagine how precious it is. Now, on the screen, the one on the left is the Bulldog that surprises me, which is a vehicle from 85. But its drive system, you can see it resembles the design of the Lace ZX from that time. Its suspension uses air pressure instead of hydraulic pressure, which is quite unique. Now, the second one on the screen is the Ashura by Hirobo, released in 88. You can see its design is very special. It is made of 2 layers of fiberglass and uses 2 belts, turning it into a 4-wheel drive 1/12 scale model. I tried to find anyone selling these NIB on eBay, but couldn't find any, proving that it is very rare. Now, the server in the middle of the screen is also a Hirobo, a 4-wheel drive car from around the same period. Its motor was at the back at the time, and it used 2 belts to drive all 4 wheels, making it 4-wheel drive. It was because of this that I later bought the 1986 Alien. Of course, the Alien is better, with the motor in the middle. Now, as we reach this point in the video, you'll see a Wonder Dog fighter. However, it's not the latest model. It was released after the Run Dog fighter. Okay. It's said that Lewis's boss used this design, which led to this version being released, or that's why it has the letters SE, meaning special edition. I also once tried searching on eBay for a NIB new inbox in perfect condition, but couldn't find one. Now, at this point, in the video, you'll see a red hero. The boss specifically mentioned that this red hero is the second generation of Ashura. Initially, I didn't realize how rare it was. It turns out that only 1,000 units were available online, and it wasn't based on the original Ashura design. The original Ashura was made with 2 fiberglass panels, whereas this one uses a carbon panel with one underneath. Therefore, it also has a way to make the belt run smoothly. You can check online to see that this is also quite a rare vehicle. Although it's a much newer model, being a Hirobo 2022 reissue, it should be quite difficult to purchase now. Almost forgot, as we reach this part of the footage, there's also the 1984 AYK Quattro. This is also a 4-wheel drive vehicle. For a period, AYK collaborated with Kyosho to develop this car. So the Kyosho Phantom, you might think, is like a 1/12 scale 4-wheel drive car driven by chains to move the 4 wheels. Found an assembled old car online. It's selling for over $400. So you can imagine how expensive a new inbox one would be. It's probably hard to find right now, and it seems it's temporarily unavailable. So if you look at its design, doesn't it resemble a commercial Phantom? There's a chain running from front to back, connecting the 4 wheels, and it's also quite lightweight. Well, I didn't know that Asus has a lot of composite boards, and these two, the boss said, are early composite versions, so they are also very precious. I don't know if he will sell them, as there are many things. He says he won't sell to people. It should be really special. Now, as we come to this part of the video, you can also see some new inbox items. On the right side, there's a Jordan 1991 Formula One, which is also from Double Star. It's probably hard to find now. Double Star was released in 1991 and discontinued in 1994. At that time, it was sold for over 10,000 yen, right? So we would go online to check if it's available for purchase now. Is anyone selling it? Yes, there are some available, but the box has turned yellow. However, it's still being sold for 571 and it's also new in box. So as you can imagine, it's quite precious. I previously bought a floral pattern one from the one on the far left, but it turns out there's a very special version. There's one with a shark mouth design for this shark mouth version. At the time, I thought it wasn't anything special, not very attractive. But who knew? Now it's being sold at a very high price. At that time, it was 2012, and selling for 15,000 yen wasn't very expensive. Of course, I immediately went online to check if it's still available. And yes, there are some. The box is very new, like an IB, but it's around $580. Maybe because at that time, the production quantity wasn't high. So now it's quite difficult to find one. After talking about these two, take a look as we slowly pan over to this one. Every time I visit this store, I always take a look at it. The current 959 Rally model at that time, very few cars were released as 1/12 scale roadblocks. I remember it was once a product from 1986, and when the Hotshot was released, it was initially sold for around 490 HKD, and very quickly it went up to over 500 HKD. This one, at that time, I remember it was sold for over 600 HKD. So, but then I think I had a classmate who once bought it. It was an amazing car, with the motor located right in the middle of the car, featuring a double wishbone design and 4-wheel drive. Also, its 4 shock absorbers were quite special, with 2 of them being particularly unique. This allowed it to refuel at any time. I also tried to see if I could find a new one in the box on eBay, but it's extremely hard to find. Probably non-existent. When I asked the owner if they would sell it, they said they wouldn't. You can also come up and take a look. His catchphrase is that once you sell one, there won't be another one of these types of cars. After seeing so many antique models, I believe that besides being interested in current models, wanting to build and play with them, many people might also have an interest in old models. There are many models that, when bought, are not necessarily bad. They might be purchased for collection purposes. I hope that this kind of interest can be cultivated by everyone. Hopefully, there will be another opportunity to take everyone to other model shops